presentation. Looks like I can't do that anymore. Okay. So where do we usually start when we want to study abroad? Sometimes we look into our contacts. Some people look online to look for agents who will help them for their study application. And perhaps you just come across a colleague, a friend, or a relative who is studying abroad, and you ask them, how should you start? While it's okay to babysit, to tell you click here, click there, it's also important that you don't pay your money to agents who will not do it correctly, or give you costs that you don't even know where to start, or perhaps you don't even know the content of all the programs. So I would say do your own research. There are a lot of search engines out there, but usually people start with Google. They'll just tell you Google it. If you don't know it, Google it. So sometimes you just need to put the words instead of putting it in your brain. Just put it on the search engines and see what comes out, and then you are able to filter which school fits. Sometimes you begin with the location. So most likely you want to think of going to the UK or to the US, but that's not always the case. There are other places to go to for your study application. The same thing when it comes to looking for supervisors. So you have the school in mind, you click the school, but then the course requires that before you proceed, you should find a supervisor for your project work, or a supervisor for the entire 2 years that you would be on campus. So you also have to go to PubMed or publication website and look for the supervisor who is in that department, whose publication or whose area of research or area of expertise is exactly what you would like to have for a mentor. So you start there, you look at their work, and then write them an email. Hello, I am this. I look forward to starting my course in 20 something, and in fall or in June. Could you please let me know if you would have time and if you would be interested in supervising me? Sometimes they respond, the response come quickly, and sometimes it just take a while. They get back to you and tell you, unfortunately, there are many students they are supervising, but they would recommend professor this and that to supervise you, and that's how you start. You look at the application requirements also. So maybe you need to take test of English as foreign language. Maybe you don't need to take it. You only need to get a letter from the school registrar stating that you studied for 4 to 6 years or 4 years on campus in English, and you have good command of the language. You can understand the language. You can study with the language. So sometimes it's just a letter from the registrar, and sometimes it's just the CGPA that might be a problem, because some schools have like a cutoff mark when they have limited position for the course. So it might be they are offering the course to the first 20 people, but these first 20 people have to have had second class upper as the base, like the cutoff. It doesn't have to be that everyone must be a first class material, or perhaps the course just says that they want you to have at least 1 year of research experience, or at least 1 year of a project, that you were able to handle a project, or perhaps they just want you to summarize your CV in words, and not just in timelines, but your person, mission statement. Why do you want to do the course? What will the cost of, what benefit would it be to you? And then there are deadlines. So sometimes we tend to push things, but if it says midnight on the 30th of May, it means not later than that. So even if you're the best candidate, you also have to meet with deadlines. And what happens afterwards? So when the school sends you a letter, dear Mr., dear Miss, we are happy to offer you a position on so course. Please tell us if you would be available to run the program. And sometimes they don't even put it, but they are expecting an acceptance letter from you. They're expecting that you either write them to accept or reject the provisional admission offer. Of course, there's a big elephant in the room. What does it cost per semester, or is it per session, or is the school offering perhaps some discounts on maybe 50% off. So if you can pay half of it, you pay the other, they spread the cost. And sometimes it's tuition free. So you if you can come, you are here. You only have to take care of yourself, your rent, your accommodation, feeding, clothing. So all your living costs, you have to take care of it. But on campus, you are probably paying just for semester charges for your transportation. So there are bus tickets, you have to pay for it. Sometimes they give you an exception. So if you don't use it, then there's no point paying. If you are staying on campus, if your accommodation is on campus and you only pay for the rent, maybe you don't need to pay for bus ticket. But then you are human, you need to go to the city. So sometimes it pays just to have those perks that you have a ticket to move around if you need to. I picked up this from online. It's a website showing where people go. So the flow of international students, and this is mainly for people who are from the 38 um, rich country clubs. So those are countries that are committed to promoting growth, free trade, and global prosperity. And what you can see from this graph is that most of the people tend to move towards, so the blue ones are the Asians, they are distributed all over. So all of these blue bars you're seeing, it means that Asians, you find most of them in Korea, in US, in Great Britain, India. So Asians are everywhere. You just need to see them. I'm sure there are a lot of them in Nigeria as well. And the yellow ones are Africa. So not just Nigerian, but you see that most Africans, their first destination these days, or back then in 2023, it's not just India, but US and UK or Great Britain. And you find some of us in Deutschland as well. So in my class of 20 master students back then, we were three from Africa. So we had Nigeria, Egypt, and Kenya back then. I think there was also a Tanzanian, perhaps four of us from Africa. So you may not want to always have US as your first option. You probably want to go to France as well. So it depends. If you want to learn a new language, then maybe you should consider other non-English speaking countries as well. And some of these non-English speaking countries, they offer your course in English as well. So they want to attract international students, especially for courses that are world-class courses that kind of look towards global impact. So for those courses, including medical sciences, they want to offer it in English so that they can attract students from all walks. So they cannot just limit it to German speaking courses or German taught courses or French taught courses as well. This slide is full. These are just offering reasons why people decide for US, why people decide for UK and Canada, and sometimes it's just the cost factor. So maybe Your scholarship is coming from DAAD, so this is a common scholarship fund organization in Germany, or the German Research Organization, or the BMBF. So all of these are acronyms, but they all have German meanings. So they fund research. They fund also mainly kind of like a transfer. So you don't have to come to just study something, but you want to make it useful back home when you return. So those courses are tailored towards multilateral relationship between different countries. And sometimes it's not the research organizations or the funders that advertise your course or your scholarship. It is the professor within an institute that got the funding, but he cannot do the research himself, so he flags it as vacant position in his department. So, or she flags it and say, I need somebody with this background or this bachelor certification to come run this research, or somebody with this master certification to do this research. So while you're doing it, of course, the funding is there, you get paid, your professor get paid, everybody's happy. So you might want to look at other foundations or fellowships or scholarships that not just cover your living costs, but they also give you basic salary or stipends, something to go with, something at the end of the month to look forward to receiving. And for sure, there are a lot of expenses to consider. You probably might need to first pay for your medical insurance even before you leave Nigeria to start your um, course abroad. So let's say you found the course online and you saw the link. So they are recommended, some universities just tell you click here to start. So you click to start, and then it says upload your birth certificate, upload your passport, upload your WAEC certificate, so your basic school leaving certificate, upload this, upload that, upload your transcript. And maybe it's just written there that your transcript has to be sent directly from the university to the university you're going to. So if you're going to Canada, so the transcript has to leave LASU and get directly to Canada, and not you getting the transcript and mailing it to them, because sometimes you go to admin and admin gives you the transcript, and then you see it, you can scan it and have a soft copy, and then you envelope it, and then your address is what you have on it. The envelope has the seal has been broken. So they sometimes just want a direct upload, perhaps by admin, or that the university envelope sealed and stamped is sent directly through courier to the university offering you the course or the admission. So you have to follow the rules. Because of little things here and there, you didn't upload the right document, or you didn't upload the right format. Sometimes it's just the right format, and then the website looks like it's not accepting you, and you're wondering what is happening. You just have to check again. Maybe there's a space too much in your user login, or you did not verify your email. So follow up on your application. There are times when you just forget that you applied for something, and they also did not want to consider that, oh, somebody who is qualified sent in application, but we sent a mail that ended up in the spam folder of your own email, and you don't even know that they are waiting on you, and you are waiting on them, but there is lots of communication. So sometimes the scholarship sent you a link, the board sent you a link that they need more information, or we need a letter from your referee. So just make sure that you are checking your folder, you are checking for updates, and sometimes if it's directly to the supervisor, write the supervisor again. Just a gentle reminder, could you please respond to my email on this, and that? So make sure you follow up on your application. And sometimes you give them like 2 or 3 weeks to respond before you send another mail. So that will be all from my side, and Brother Abraham can now take over and we will do the questions later. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Good evening. Thank you so much for that presentation. You've laid the right foundation for the rest of the things that I'm going to say. Thank you so much. And please just be sure you can indicate with an emoji if you can hear me clearly. I'm on transit. I don't know why I assumed it was 10 a.m. So I planned my day, my outings for the evenings. So I later discovered it was 7 p.m. So we've talked about scholarship, how to get international studies, opportunities, how to apply, doing your due diligence, reaching out. Reaching out is one of the most important aspects of, getting a good fit for you out there. Sometimes there are a lot of opportunities that are never public, but by just reaching out to a professor or to a faculty member, you'll be surprised the amount of things that are behind, are waiting for someone to just reach out. But the angle that I've been pleased to come through is now you probably are not looking at self-funding, because there are two tracks to studying abroad. You can self-fund yourself, or you seek financial scholarship or any form of scholarship that can help you help you study, fulfill your dreams, and have an international exposure that you need. I won't be sharing my screen. I have a slide. I can just share my slide later in the group. Because I'm on transit, I won't even share my slide. So I am a Chieftain Scholar, 2019 Chieftain Scholar, amongst many other things. And Chieftain probably sits at top 3 scholarship in the world. Maybe I'll put it 2 tiers. So tier 1s are like Oxford, Gate, Cambridge scholarships, strictly academic. Strictly on academic performances, and there are maybe the tier 1B, which is government flagship scholarships like Chieftain, Fulbright scholarship from the United States. I think Australia has their own awards, and some other countries. But when you look at top tier, top scholarship in the world, I would say that Chieftain sits at number top 3 of the most prestigious scholarship in the world. High application rate, a very low acceptance rate, less than 1%. So I'm going to be sharing a bit about the process and maybe chipping in my story and there on how you can secure achievement scholarship, and probably just cascade that same principle to other governments flagship scholarship. So Chieftain is the UK's flagship scholarship. It's funded by the Foreign and Commonwealth Development Office and other partner organizations, and it invests mainly in people who already show outstanding leadership potential. Since 1983, 50,000 alumni across 160 countries. So it's a fully funded 1-year master's degree at any eligible UK university. So there are some few regions in the United Kingdom that are not eligible. And you can read that. I think all the major regions, I think some parts of Ireland are not, I can't remember, but there's a particular place, Ireland or Mount, I can't remember. But I just one region that's not eligible, but most universities are eligible for achievement. And you can study your choice of course at institutions. That's one of the things I love about the scholarships. There are many other scholarships that limit you to other sciences or accounting or maybe humanities, but in Chieftain, you can study any choice of course in any choice institution except for MBA. So Chieftain is not academic focused. That's what makes Chieftain a bit different from tier 1 scholarship like Oxford, Rhodes, Gates, Cambridge. It's a scholarship that is awarded not only based on academic performances, but based on leadership track record. So Achieving is investing in the future leaders of the country. So basically, one of the inside things people should understand about Achieving is that it is one of the UK's bilateral international policy strategy to establish relationships with countries of interest. So they look out for potential leaders that hold very influential positions in different part of a country and invest in them now, hoping that in the nearest future, when those leaders are in those different industries and institutions, they will be friends with the United Kingdom. So it's a way of maintaining lifelong relationships with country of interest by investing in their future leaders. So there are two types of Achieving Awards. There's the Achieving Scholarship, which is the main award, which is a master's degree, and there is Achieving Fellowship. So there are some persons who feel like they've gone past the stage where they want to go back to for a master's degree. The fellowship is a very, very good alternative. So although the fellowship is very limited in space and focus, but it's an opportunity for you to have access to placements in a research institute, any form of institution of interest in the UK, probably where you want to understudy or carry on your independent research without having to go through a formal academic rigor. So in my set, there was one fellowship slot for Nigerians, and it was a Yoruba language scholar who was placed in the library, a public library in London. I can't remember his research, but it has to do with language, Yoruba language. And so I already mentioned very, very large alumni network across the world. In Nigeria, we're almost 5,000 chiefners across different years. Some notable chiefners, the chairman and the founder of Channels TV, and a number of ministers and even industry leaders are chiefners. So one of the things you need to know about chiefning, which I tell people a lot, but some persons will want to tell me, oh, I believe God, faith and all of that. But I think that's important to understand criteria when you're applying for things and know if you are a good fit for that program. That's really very, very important, because chiefing is not for someone who is trying to figure out themselves. Chiefing is not for someone who just have academic qualifications. Chiefing is for people who have demonstrated a strong track record, of leadership, potential and active impact in their communities or in their industry. So it does not necessarily have to be a non-profit or an NGO. It just has to be someone who is a leading voice or an emerging voice in your industry. If you're still following me, please just give me some emojis so that we know that we're together. What does Chiefling cover? Full tuition, your school fees for the entire year is going to be covered. You get the return, economy return flight, by an approved route to and fro is covered. Your visa cost is covered. You get a monthly stipend. The only people who have a different stipend are those who live in London because of the higher cost of living. I studied at the University of Sussex, Brighton, East Sussex. I think my time I was given £1,300 for monthly stipend. I spent about £550 on rent as I was living off campus. Then you also get arrival allowance. So your first 2 months, you get a different allowance that is different from your monthly allowance. So first month of arrival, you get approximately between 2,000 to £2,500 for settling in. You want to buy things, you want to get I don't know, you want to get real train ticket card, anything that just help you to settle in. Then you get a top up for any form of chilling event you are doing. So if you are being invited from a particular city to another city, you get a top up or grant for attending children events. Like I said, it's not an academic scholarship; it's a leadership scholarship. So you get to attend high level events throughout that year, networking with leaders in different industries, connecting with other achievement scholars across different countries, because it is important for them. It's important for achievement scholars to network, and I will get to that point. So you also get £75 refund on your tuberculosis test, because it's mandatory to get tuberculosis test from an approved health institution in Nigeria if you are going to be traveling to the UK. So one thing you must know that your scholarship does not cover dependents, they strongly advise to not come with dependents, but if you want to still come with dependents, it's allowed. I have many friends who came with their wives, their children, but that additional cost will be on you solely. Okay. The next thing I want to really cover here is how to gauge your eligibilities. I think it's very important for me to mention this. I've had many people reach out to me for children. I'm like, I can honestly tell them they are not ready for tripling, but some persons will want to like say, oh, I want to take a leap of faith and all of those things. I think it's okay if you want to apply to have a feel of the program process, but if you know you don't meet certain requirements, I think it's okay to just look for other programs that are fit for you. So 2,800 hours, work hours is very important, work experience. For me, I got children in 2019. I applied in 2018. This was just 2 years post 2 years post NYC. So most people at that phase would most likely not be eligible for achievement. But one of the reasons why I was able to have, if I had more than 2,800 hours work experience, I think I had up to 5,000 something hours work experience, because I had a lot of volunteering I did on campus. I had some jobs I did on campus. I taught in the school in my final year, and I was also running my then I put in on campus. I had this digital platform for mentoring young people that was going on. And post university, I was doing a lot of impact based work and volunteering. So volunteering also counts as work hours. And interestingly, many people apply for Chimney multiple times, but at that point in my life, that was my first application. And as God will have it, I got into the program. So you must also apply to 3 universities and have unconditional offer to at least one of those universities that are eligible. You must always, one of the key part of achieving and many government flagship scholarships that you have to return back to your home country. And I want to say something about this quickly, because in the face of immigration across the world, you see a lot of changes and stringent measures being, raised against immigration. I think many countries have genuine reasons for that. For example, I noticed in my own set, many people didn't come back or came back and found an excuse to go back to the UK. And the thing is that you signed a a contract and saying that you'll be invested into, and you will come back to your country for the minimum of 2 years to apply the things you've learned. And Nigerians will be looking for the shortcuts to evade their commitment. And for me, it begs the question, these are the people that are saying they are leaders. And I'm like, are these the leaders of Nigeria's future? So I don't know if this is a direct implication, but I noticed that my set was the highest number of achievers uh, in the last 6, 7 years. We were 57 achievers. But as of last year, there were 39, 2 years ago, 37, and it keeps dropping every single year. I don't know if it's because return rates of scholars are reducing, but I know that the Nigeria is a very, very important country for the United Kingdom. But I wonder why our catchment is reducing drastically. I think one of the reasons will be that Nigerians are not following the rules and are looking for ways to jackpot through cheapening. So I think that if you don't want to return to Nigeria, I would advise to not think about cheapening. So you must have graduated for of course your first degree. The universities you're applying for have certain requirements. You have to meet the university requirement, and your university requirement is based on the course. So if you are applying for certain courses that require high English language proficiency, you have to prove that um, that had already been explained previously. Achieving no longer requires you to write IELTS exams, but your specific course will still require you to meet certain English speaking requirements. You can always get a waiver. I've never written it. I think I only wrote IELTS because of cheapening back then. But for many of the universities that I've applied for or programs I applied to, I don't I don't have to. I just show them my TEDx talks, show them my writing, my publication. I'm like, I can clearly speak English. Why do I have to, show you additional proof of language? And I get waivers for all of those things. And also because I don't have a master's degree from the UK, any other university I'm applying for, any other program I'm applying for, I don't normally bother myself about English language proficiency, because once you study in countries like the United Kingdom or many English-speaking countries, you automatically get a waiver of that. I think I have two more slides, then we can ask specific questions. So let me just really talk to you about the application process. There are 4 things that Chivney will test you on in your essay writing. Each of these section essays are 500 words limit. So you have a word count of 500 words. The first essay is about leadership and influence. This is where you show real evidence of decisions you have made, people you have mobilized, outcomes you have achieved in your place of work, in your community. There's a very strong emphasis on people doing things that have social impact consequences, right? So even though if you are working in the corporate sector, corporate space, how is your work really improving the lives of people at the social level? So it's not about how much position you have acquired in your field. It's how does your work currently make a difference, right? So what has your leadership look like in practice, and how have you made significant change in your community? The second thing is your networking potential. They want to see how you have collaborated to build influence beyond your immediate cycle. So you demonstrate that you can build, and you build strategic relationships to achieve your goals. You will show that you have cross-cultural intelligence, cross-sector understanding. You know how to make connections and mobilize people and resources towards a certain goal. You have to justify why you chose that course and the institution. Remember, you have to choose 3 institutions, right? Why the course? Why now? Why the UK? So it's important that you connect your academic choice directly to your career trajectory. So let there be a connection between your leadership, your network, where you are, where you are going to, and also the impact you want to make in your country. It's also very important that you connect all the things you're writing to the interest of the United Kingdom in your country of residence. So in my time, there was strong emphasis on education, um, and I can't remember the second focus. So I was able to connect my work a lot towards the UK government is doing in the education sector. Currently, the UK government have a lot of investment in the creative sector, creative economy. They are spending so much with the British Council to raise filmmakers, to create content, to just build the creative economy in Nigeria, because of course it's very profitable. The truth is that it's a selfish ambition. So you have to be able to connect your own ambition to their own selfish ambition, right? Because it's not like they particularly have individuals they love. They're just looking for people who show potential and they can invest in. So it's a mutual relationship. You benefit from them, they benefit from you. So the last essay, we actually focus on your future plans. Here, you're not saying I want to be successful. You're not saying I want to. You are showing what you will do that already connects what you've been doing, but also have measurable impact, right? So what would your impact look like when you return back to your country? A very good way to structure this would be maybe the first 3 to 6 months, realistic things, right? The first 1 year, maybe 5 years and 10 years. So these four essays are very, very important. They are what's going to get you a pass into the next stage, which is going to be a one-on-one interview. All right. And during the interview, you have a staff, a foreign Commonwealth development staff from the UK. You have a Nigerian staff of the UK High Commission. Then you have one past alumni who's an expert in your field. Just walking this through. I think I have one more slide, and probably we could just ask questions to be able to get maybe more precise areas you want me to specify. So the general thing you want to know is that you have to be evidence-based. You have to have stories that are backed by numbers and real scenarios. No broad claims. You have to have clear vision for your home country through your career trajectory. You have to have coherent narratives and answers, so that when someone reads the 4 essays, someone can find a common theme. I think there'll be another. I have a blog post on this in detail. There's another material I have in how to write essays in a way that is compelling. That writing is very a narrative. Someone can read the 4 essays and find a common theme, right? Can see your hero's journey, can see how you started, where you are, and where you are going to. You also want to be authentic. You have your context. There is no context that is small. I almost lost Chivney because I felt like I wasn't qualified enough. At that phase in my life, I felt like this is a very, very prestigious scholarship. The previous year, I applied for Schwarzman scholarship in China just for a test at China University, and I really felt like I wasn't qualified for this one. So I missed the deadline. But I remember having a dream, and I remember the Holy Spirit telling me that this is not the way, right? I'm just summarizing. And I really asked the Holy Spirit, I repent, I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I missed the deadline. And in the history of Chevening, it has never happened again. It has never happened before. They extended the deadline for 1 week. For 1 week. And in that 1 week, I put myself together, completed my application, and submitted it. And lo and behold, first trial, and I got into the program. So what I'm trying to say is that you have your own unique context and voice and experience and your ambition. Don't underrate what you can bring to the table. Just be very, very strategic in how you present your work. Have a lot of proofs, social media proofs, publication proof, document your work in a way that you can demonstrate. Common reasons why people fail: for generic answers, you don't meet the requirements, you're not very detailed in your research, you're not learning about the schools. Someone can read your essay and can tell that it was plagiarized or it was written by a consultant. You want to hear your authentic voice in your writing. I just want to say that Nigeria is one of the most competitive markets when it comes to achievements. We know Nigerians are very, very smart, very, very competitive markets. Most times you have like 11 to 12,000 applications from Nigeria, and you have less than 1% success rate. So and the competition is really increasing every year because many people want to have a feel of international education. And this is one out of many experience I've had with international studies. I know I have 15 minutes, so let me just stop here, and probably questions would be a better way to address any specific concerns. Or yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, sir.
Very well. Thank you. Thank you, Sister Light and Bro Abraham. So now, yes, so we have the floor open for questions. So if you have a question, feel free to actually unmute yourself and put your question forward. Yes, I can see I have it. Yes, Sister Florence.
Good evening, everyone. Yeah, thank you for the presentations. Thank you for the detailed information given. I want to ask Abraham, I was hoping you would talk about the Chevenins Fellowship Program. I'm asking because earlier this year, I was applied to a number of schools, a whole lot of them for PhD. But I couldn't get any. So I'm also looking, now I'm searching for fellowships. So when you mentioned that Chevening does have fellowship programs, I was like, okay. So please, the fellowship program, or at least how to, navigate it, how to get
Okay.
it.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So the way Chevening Fellowship works, okay, sorry. Someone was saying something, right? Can I go on?
Please go ahead.
Okay, great. So Chevening fellowships are actually very, very nuanced than the academics masters. But the master's program is specific, is detailed,
Very what?
is
I
predictable.
didn't get that.
Very nuanced in the sense that it's not predictable. So every year there are different sponsoring bodies who are partnering with Chevening to get professionals from different countries to participate in the fellowship. So, like I mentioned in my own set, it was a literary organization that focused on language, indigenous language. So there was funding for anyone who has an interesting research or experience with language. So the scholar that was chosen from Nigeria was a Yoruba language scholar. Last year, particularly, it moved a bit more to Islamic and Oriental studies. So there was a scholar who was picked from Nigeria in that area. So The fellowship is a bit dynamic. Each year, there's a different focus based on the demands from Chiefney's fellowship partners. So I can't even tell you what the next focus will be this year until they announce it. So that's why Chiefney's fellowship is a bit very nuanced and dynamic. You can't really bank on it because you don't even know what the next focus would be. So you might have to look out for other fellowships, programs across the world. I think for PhD, you can try Commonwealth PhD. I know that there is no age limit, and it's very much accessible, very accessible compared to um, many other PhD programs. So Commonwealth is a good option. There are literally a lot of universities in Australia who have PhD openings. So maybe if you can be more specific about your challenges with the PhD application, I might be able to give specific answer as to what you can do differently, because I know that there are actually a lot of PhD openings. So that's just my answer for now. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, someone already opened Commonwealth here. I can see the screen. Yeah, so you can prepare for the next Commonwealth cycle for PhD.
When does the cycle open? When?
Anytime from now, between now and November, I think the next Commonwealth should be out against next year.
Okay, thank
But
you.
you need to fact check that. But I know that it's always from summer, fall down to the September thereabout. People can apply against next year.
Yeah, thank you, bro, Abraham. Yeah, I think one other thing I can add is on the PhD conversation is that outside of those scholarships, the easiest way to get funded PhD is to actually target specific institutions and target specific professors. I actually have an experience that when I first contacted my PhD supervisor, she told me, "Sir, I still have that email," and she wrote to me and said, "Sorry, we don't fund these kinds of research." And essentially for one reason, it's the fact that I had proposed 2 case studies that were completely outside of New Zealand. But then I saw online that there was a PhD scholarship for law. And I said, well, even though Professor Frankel said she wouldn't take me, I will still apply. So I put in the application, and then about 6 weeks later or thereabout, there was an email telling me that I had received a funded scholarship offer, funded PhD position, and that my supervisor was going to be the same professor who said no about 6 months earlier. So it actually just taught me that at the end of the day, one, you put in the application regardless if there's a general availability, but more importantly is in the communication that we establish with professors. I had an experience with, like the Opayami was saying about the extension of Chevron scholarship in that particular year. I had an experience where I applied to Manchester for my PhD, and I only saw the scholarship after it's closed. So, and I put in the application still and simply said, well, I'll apply. And then, as God would have it, the professors called me and said they were going to interview me. So at the interview, I told them expressly, I said, well, I'm really sorry that I put in my application later than the deadline. So later than the scholarship deadline. So which meant I didn't indicate my interest in the scholarship before the deadline. Well, long story short, they just told me, they said, okay, don't worry, that they will see what they could do about that. And as God would have it, they offered me the scholarship, and it was just one scholarship for the whole faculty. So I realized that there is a lot of gain in actually establishing those first of all, those early interactions with the faculties, if you can find anybody in the faculty who's in the field and just build those interactions, it actually helps because down the line, like the explanations we've done, they have the funding, they can easily remember somebody they interacted with and say, we have this for you and all of that. So that's it. Because the truth is that there are actually more funded PhD positions than you will find for masters. There are actually more.
Yeah, true.
So yeah, so that's why oftentimes when people tell me they want to be a master's and they are looking for PhD, I'm telling them you have more competition compared to people who are actually trying to get into a PhD because there are actually much more funded PhD positions.
Yeah.
So when I finished my own master's in January, just barely 2 weeks down the lane, so in February, my professor got funding for German bilateral research with Russia. And I just got an email. Ola, are you still interested in doing your research in my lab? I just got funding. Of course, I'm still interested. So that's how I started my PhD the following month in the same lab. And you would think, okay, because this is a bilateral research between Germany and Russia to foster their relationship in tuberculosis research. And I mean, there are back and forth history of people moving around who actually have TB and they don't know. And this kind of research is not just to look into tuberculosis, but to bury some enmity between this person crossed your border with this disease and came to our own country, but to solve the problem, not to and then why is it that such research then goes to somebody who is not Russian and you're not even from Russia and you're not even from Germany. It just means that there's somebody available to do the job. There's somebody that can do the job, has the qualification to do the job. So let's give it.
Yeah.
You get the research, you get the funding at the same time. It's just sometimes even these fundings, it's not just that you are getting salary, but they're already paying towards your pension because they pay for your taxes while you are getting part of the money. And at the same time, the social benefit of saving towards your retirement it's part of it. So you're not just getting stipends or salary, but they're planning towards your future as well.
So fun. That's why I
you.
mentioned
Yes,
that
thank
if
you.
you can be
Yeah.
specific, maybe you can have a private chat with you guys. It can help out because I know that there are literally a lot of funding for PhD. Like it's a lot. So maybe one-on-one can help out navigate that challenge.
Very well. Yeah, that's my thinking too, actually. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so Florence, we can actually have one-on-one interaction and try to see where to look and all of that. I think on that point, actually have a question. I don't know if either of our
Mr. Buki has been
facilitators.
raising her hand for a while.
Oh, apologies. Oh yes, Nabuki.
Thank you, Sister Ola. Thank you so much, everyone, for the presentation. I really do enjoy it. I'm going to follow up at the back of what Sister Ola said. My initial question was to ask her to take us through our own journey specifically. I know you gave a general kind of presentation, but then at the back of what you said in terms of how you get your funding for your PhD, so obviously that is because the professor knows you, and I know normally in the Western part they appreciate that because you've already kind of established some kind of rapport. But so how did you get to do your master's? Because it's not Nigeria. So did you pay for that?
So I applied to US Albany Medical College to study immunology, And I got a conditional admission that I have to send $11,000 for my first year, just the tuition fee. And they wrote it clearly in the email that I also should consider that I have to have money for my living costs, which means, give or take, at that time, 12 years ago, I would need roughly $20,000 for 1 year. So for tuition fee and for living cost. And as God will have it, 2 or 3 weeks down the lane, someone wrote me. I met the person from during the NYSC, and back then we were all talking about what we want to do after NYSC. And the person went to the German consulate to apply for student visa to study engineering. And there he met somebody else who wants to go study a course in biological sciences, infection biology precisely, in Germany. So he got the email and the Facebook contact of that person and sent it to me and told me that I should consider Germany because the course will be taught in English. So that was the point where I had to think about it, that okay, this is a country where I only need to come with my living cost. I don't have to pay tuition. I only need semester charges of about 130 euros per semester for semester. And this semester charges is for me to have my bus ticket, to use the library and to go around and all that. So, and that was how I thought, okay, Daddy, I told my parents, Mommy, so I think I will go with the one where I don't have to think of where the money for the next semester or for the next session will come from. And yeah, and I decided to apply to Germany, and just one course, the same infection biology, the same university, one course, one university, and I got the admission. Yeah. And during the infection biology, it was 2-year course. So the first year was all practical and lectures in the university, and the second year you have to search for a research institution yourself. So at that point, I wrote one of the professors I met in class, not even knowing that he was the chairman of the master course, so that he started the master course on campus. So I just wrote him an email saying, I like your research work on tuberculosis. I'm interested in it. Can I do my projects in your lab? And then he forwarded the mail to other postdoctoral researchers in this lab. Mostly what I observe about professors is that they have not that luxury of time to supervise you, but they have a lot of people that are under them that will be willing to supervise you. So you probably get to meet with your professor like once a week or twice a week maximum. They do the politics of getting the funding, going around for grants application and all that, and a lot of political meetings just to get the funding in. So they might guide you. You bring your research work, you show it to your professor. I did this, I did this, I did that, and you would ask, why don't you titrate your samples further? Why don't you try this and try that? So they give recommendations to guide you and not necessarily have the time to pipette with you or show you how to use a machine in the lab. They have people who will show you that for sure. And that was how I finished my project with him. And during the project, of course, I got monthly payment for internship and master project in that research lab. So some of them have money to just not so much, but something for the master student that are doing the research work to get as basic salary. And afterwards, the PhD came in and he asked me if I would want to continue, and yes. And so that was how I started my PhD. I finished my PhD last year. I defended last year, yes. I defended last year.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tuma.
Thank you. Let me just see whether we have any other questions. Do we have any other questions? Okay.
Sorry, but I can just ask the other brother as well.
Very well, yes.
I'm assuming based on what he said that is now in Nigeria. So since going back to Nigeria, following the program, that's brother to brother Abraham. So how have you been able to impact Nigeria at the back of what you've learned through your program?
Okay, thank you so much for the question. So prior to my travel, at the point of my travel, so before the application, of course, when I was on campus, I had that platform where it was for peer mentoring. I was writing blogs and creating knowledge that was helping young people like think about how they can impact their society and their community with social media. That was just the basic then. Then that's from there I got out of NYC. I got into a training program with the US government called Young African Leadership Initiative. So I had a 1 year training on different aspects of leadership. So coming out from there, I had a lot of volunteer projects I did with the US consulates in Nigeria, from mobilizing people for elections to teaching trainings on governance, transparency, holding government accountable using technology, just public advocacy and civic contributions to Nigeria so that we don't have passive youth, right? So that was a bit of my work then. While I was still building my business, I had a business called a tech agency that was focused on helping non-profit and social impact organizations use technology and media to amplify their work. So I help a lot of non-profit with storytelling, impact storytelling, documentaries, design, branding, tech integration. So my master's degree was on media practice for development and social change. So it was about how to use media as a tool for social change. And yeah, so before then, 2018, I formally got a license to run an organization in Nigeria for the UN Foundation called Social Good Lagos. So that's the Lagos chapter, the Nigerian chapter of one of the United Nations project called Plus Social Good, which is a global community that is focused on using technology and media to drive change. So I was doing a lot of grassroots mobilization, getting youth voices, reporting on local youth involvement, sending it to the UN. It helps with major dialogues they have during UNGAs. I was doing a lot of trainings, tech trainings for young people, helping people who are in their normal 5 job connect their jobs to how they can advocate for the SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals. So I was doing a lot of grassroots mobilization, capacity development trainings, and convening. So I was still running a summit called Shagu Summit, where I bring in different stakeholders across different industries. I have connections in the government, and that's the Office of the SDGs, President of the SDGs, private sectors, from Access Banks, many private sectors, leaders. There are a lot of non-profit partners. So we kind of have convenings and dialogues as to, oh, we are doing this work in our industry. How can we advance? Particularly, how can we collaborate more? So all those best practice information, I gather them as research documents, forward them to UN through the UN Foundation, and just help with getting a lot of local and ground reporting on how different actors across Nigeria are contributing to the Sustainable Development Goals. So coming back to Nigeria, during my master's, I kind of pivot away so I can handle all the media forms, from videos, photos, broadcasts, but I eventually saw my strength in design. Anytime I'm given a project, so my master was a practice-based master, so I didn't go for any academic masters, a lot of lab work. So my professor always comments about how my design was standing out. So when I got back to Nigeria, I focused on my design studio. My studio became focused on design. So right now I work with a lot of nonprofits across Africa. I work with a nonprofit in Uganda, in Ghana, in Tanzania, in Zimbabwe, a lot of grassroots nonprofits in Nigeria also. I help them a lot with their brand communications, how to tell stories, how to raise funding for their nonprofits. So I'm basically using design as a tool to shape their work, how to ensure that their project is not just one-off project, but really meeting needs. So we call it human-centered design. So I'm doing a lot of local partnerships, collaborations, very, very behind the same work. but very, very challenging, very, very impactful. Right now, I'm working with an organization called LifeNet. They run more than 40% of Africa grassroots healthcare initiatives, and it's faith-based. So this one's a faith-based. So they do a lot of going into rural communities. They train, they connect them to global partners and innovators across the world to get access to medicine, resources. So I'm currently helping them with the next phase of their brand communications because they're evolving from grassroots NGOs to more like an international network. That's a very, very brief summary of my work, but I hope it gives a picture.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. So I think the question I wanted to ask is, do you know of any websites that aggregate scholarships across the globe? There used to be scholarship positions, but I think recently, maybe in the last 1 or 2 years, I've noticed that that website, the design of that website has changed completely. It's not what it used to be. So I don't know if you know any other websites now that aggregate scholarships from different parts of the world that people can subscribe to.
Yes, Stella shared her screen. She was sharing earlier. She shared opportunities for Africans. There is scholarshipopportunities.com. There is, I think, alleviates.org. There are a couple of them that aggregates. I think there's YM Grad. I belong to the YM Grad. It's an Indian aggregator. There are a couple of them. Just, I think if you even Google them, you'll see some. But if you want me to send some links, in addition to the one Sister Ola is sharing, I can also send the ones I know.
Excellent. Great. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that would be very helpful so that at least people can subscribe to those sites and get regular updates. For everyone attending, the reason why I raised that question is because scholarship aggregators are the easiest places to actually know what scholarships are out there in different parts of the world. They are the easiest way to know. So it's easy to actually think, especially coming from Nigeria, it's easy to think, oh, the only scholarships are available are Chevening and Commonwealth scholarships. But the truth is that there are thousands of them in different parts of the world. So, and it's just important to know where to actually find information about them. So we will. So that's the reason why. So we've had some of them mentioned by Bro Abraham and the ones that Sister Ola has been showing on the screen. So do we have any other questions? Okay, so it seems we all agree that we call it a day here. Thank you very much, everyone. Just to reiterate that if you have any
Before we
other
call it a day,
questions,
can we say a happy birthday
yes.
to you? Even though we don't get the cake, also the digital cake, we cannot see the digital cake on the screen. Happy birthday, brother Mitope. We appreciate all you're doing for us in the house and all the growth opportunities you've been giving us. Oh, I like the digital cake. Thank you so much.
Happy birthday to you, Brother.
Sister Ola, I thought I'm the only one who can call, but I may talk my please.
No, I took it from Sister Kuti's mouth. So she started, but I'm
No,
and I said, I take it.
happy birthday, brother.
That's the way I will call him.
Happy birthday, Brother Tope. I don't want to
Thank you.
I want 3 cake, please.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you very much.
But I'm talking
Yeah,
we'll see camera.
Yeah, it's been a good time. I've been awake for the past 32, 33 hours. So
Wow.
well, it's okay. It's
Ekpele.
yeah, it's very a lot. So sorry, well, it's okay. Yeah. Yeah,
Sleeping
I
is
was
part
going
of
to sleep off.
celebration. Please get some sleep as
I
well.
started feeling sleepy around 30 minutes before this workshop, so I had to keep myself awake. Yeah, thank you very much. I'm very grateful, and thank you for coming. Just to reiterate that if we have any questions after now, and we would like to, I mean, for this regarding this particular subject, maybe you want in personal support about any aspect of postgraduate studies, postgraduate scholarships, don't hesitate to reach out. We can always provide support, and even if we don't have the information directly, we can always refer. Sister
So that's my
Lighton's
email. You can write
displaying
me.
our email address there. And I mean, our other brother, Yemi Adams, couldn't attend for personal reasons, but he is also available and we can always reach out to him if anybody needs support. So Bro Abraham has also put his email address in the chat. So let's feel free to reach out if we actually want to engage on any aspect of these conversations. So thank you very much. God's blessing rest upon us. So I'll pray and then we can close. Okay, yeah. So yes, so the links for the scholarship sites we'll type out some of them and just put in the announcement page, just so that everybody can have access to them and subscribe. It's very important to be able to have those subscriptions. It's very, very important because the people who run those sites, once you subscribe, will give you regular updates. I mean, Scholarship Positions used to send 3 emails every week. So just to tell you which scholarships are actually out there, and also, yeah. Okay, so we can close, say prayer and close, and then we'll put the information out. God, we thank you. Thank you for the completion of this workshop. We are very grateful. Thank you for our facilitators. Thank you for the wisdom that they have shared with us. And God, we ask for everyone who is actually looking in this direction for postgraduate studies, for scholarships. We know that you are the one who opens doors that no one can shut. And God, we ask that you will cause doors to open in unexpected places, in unexpected ways.
Amen.
That you will fill everyone's mouth with testimonies so that their expectations will not be cut short.
Amen.
In the name of Jesus. God, we thank you. And we
you.
pray that the rest of this weekend, we are strengthened, our strength is renewed unto us, and you will uphold and preserve every one of us in Jesus' name. Amen. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone.
God bless
Yeah.
you. Thank you very
See
much.
you at the next workshop.
This is Sister Zainab. Hello from here.
God bless you.
God bless you.
Hello
God bless
from
you.
here.
Thank you, bro.
Hello
Thank you
from
for
here.
having
Thank
me.
you.
See my neighbor greeting me as if she's.
Hello. I have to shout across the internet to
So
get
you
to
want me
you.
to announce to them that you have not bought ticket to come to Berlin, Abby?